Hello, students. Michael Sanchez, violin teacher here from Grand Rapids, Michigan, United States of America. Welcome to the class. This is our beginner class that we're holding every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, helping adult beginners and intermediates improve on the violin. And we actually just did a vote, and the students that are here, about 25 of us, voted that they really would like to improve their left hand dexterity and just ability to play fast. So plenty to be said on that. So I'm basically going to be doing a class here explaining different ways for you guys to improve your speed and make sure that your left hand is efficient. And I'll be taking questions from the audience, and I think this will be a really great class for you guys to follow and learn from. Great. So let me just get started with saying the importance of just fundamentals with the left hand. Really a student is totally restricted in their ability to progress if they have a bad left hand setup. So if you've never been taught left hand technique, this is a really good class for you, because if you just kind of put your hand anywhere on the instrument and kind of just play in the moment, what I mean by that is like you kind of have the mentality and the thought of, as long as it sounds okay, I'm fine. I can get away with it, with how I'm putting my left hand fingers down. But what's missed by that is that as you progress, you're going to find restriction in your ability to play harder music. So raise your hand if you guys struggle to you feel like to progress, and you think it might be related to the left hand. Like you're not able to play faster, you're not able to kind of move your way through material, because like you're finding yourself playing a lot of out of tune notes, more than usual. That's what happens if you don't set up your left hand. So it's like a lot of you guys. Okay, so yeah, I mean, even if you're just starting out and you're playing Mary Had a Little Lamb, that's actually where I emphasize it the most in the first month of lessons, because students without that fundamental base, the longer they play improperly, the harder it is to fix a bad habit. Okay, so every bad habit can be fixed, but it takes a while, and it's better just to do it right the first time. So that's what I'm going to be teaching you guys with this. So this is all related to playing fast, okay? And I'll give you guys some specific tips as well on efficiency, because a lot of left hand playing fast has to do with efficiency, with what we're sort of not doing. A lot of you guys are doing too much in the left hand, okay? All right, so let me just start by doing the left hand setup. A lot of you guys have seen me talk about this, but really it's something that should be overemphasized. It's so important. But if you've never seen this before, this is crucial, okay? So I basically teach the left hand in 4 steps, okay, 4 steps. The first step, if you guys want to grab your instruments, let me put this on the, actually, no, I'll keep it here. So the first step is the thumb should be even with where you put your first finger down on the violin. So the thumb in this position here, okay? Don't have it back here. It's much better to have it even with the one, because then they work together, and when you start to shift, they work sort of as a capo, almost like a guitar. So the thumb position, step 1. Step 2 is having the hand back towards the nut. The nut is the elevation in the fingerboard where the strings lie over. So a lot of you guys have your hand here when you're playing, okay? So you kind of grab the neck like this, and there's space right here, okay? And the problem with this is that eventually you're going to have to play notes in the low 1 position. So this is a 1 position. This is a normal 1. But eventually when we start to play in the key of F, the key of B flat, the key of E flat, we have to play back here, okay? And what most students do is they develop a bad habit of being here, and then they kind of just come back and forth to do those notes. The problem is when you come back and forth, your angles change. And when your angles change, your hand tenses up, and that hurts your vibrato, and that hurts your speed, that hurts your efficiency, okay? So it all relates. Everything works together. It's a huge bad habit to have your hand here instead of here. Huge. Yeah, I work on this all the time with students. So when you're playing, okay, I should not, the other side. I should not see any sort of fingerboard from this angle, okay? So a lot of you guys have the hand too far up, and you're setting yourself up for struggle on the violin later on. So this is the adjustment we have to make. We have to get the hand back. Raise your hand if that makes sense. We have people paying attention. Sweet. Great. So gap, bad, okay? So back. So that's the second step. Step 1, step 2, okay? Step 3, hand up, okay? Hand high. Okay, if you guys don't have your hand high, you're gonna struggle to play fourth fingers. Raise your hand if you guys struggle with fourth fingers. Fourth finger struggles, playing it in tune, reaching it, getting, you know, in tune. The fourth finger is it's very easy to develop bad habits with the fourth finger because of bad angles. It's easy for the hand to get tense. How many of you guys struggle with fourth finger vibrato? Raise your hands. Fourth finger vibrato. So a lot of you guys struggle with that because it's like a domino effect, okay? If you don't have your hand back, you don't have your hand high, naturally when you start to have these different combinations of notes, naturally your hand is going to tense up. Naturally then you're going to be tense in the hand, hurting your vibrato, hurting your speed, okay? So it's a domino effect, okay? So if you don't do these things. You can't just be in the moment. You can't just come back and forth. That's what actually tenses it up. Okay, so so far step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 4 is turn the hand about an inch away from the fingerboard. Right there, okay? Now, believe it or not, and a lot of students just sort of don't believe this or accept this idea, but it's true. If you're in this position right here, you can play every single note on the violin in first position without moving the hand at all, literally at all, okay? All you have to do is get your fingers to fall down, fall into place, okay? And that's what keeps your hand relaxed for vibrato and what makes it easy to play like this, fast. Okay, so you guys want to play fast, you can't have your hand in a bad position to where, you know, your fingers can only move so fast like this when they're more having to do this instead of this. This is so much easier here, okay? So yeah, a lot of you guys just are struggling with this. So huge, okay, huge. This hand position is huge, okay? So once you're in this position, and I want you to go ahead and grab your instruments. So what I want you guys to do is grab a friend if he or she's nearby, if you're watching the recording, or if you do have somebody here, if you're live, or take your right hand and grab your left hand, okay, right here, right at the knuckles, okay? So don't do it out here, just right at the knuckles. So basically you can only move the fingers. The fingers are flapping like this, but I'm not moving my hand, okay? So once I'm in that hand position, the 4 steps, I should be able to find every note and play any of my pieces, any scale, any etude, any song with just the fingers. So have the friend hold onto the hand, or you hold onto the hand and just practice this concept right here. I call it the knuckle rack. So your knuckle rack is efficient like this when it's in this position. Okay, it's able to find every note in the violin, every note, 4th fingers, low ones. Okay, raise your hand if that makes sense. I just love technique. All right, so yeah, the 4 steps. So, you know, basically the way to test the 4 steps, low first finger on the E string and also 4th finger on the G string, put those 2 fingers down. That's gonna test to make sure that your hand is high enough and it's in the proper angles position. So those 2 notes, F natural and 4th finger on the G string. Keeping them both down. If you can do that, then you're high enough. A lot of you guys are just too low, and a lot of you guys come out on the E string to play notes, okay? And then you're kind of coming back and forth, and you're changing your angles. So, so that's a good drill or good thing to practice is just those 2 notes to set up the hand. So you can just do that before you start playing. You know, set up those 2 notes before you even start, before you start playing your pieces. So hope that makes sense. Any questions on that so far? Raise your hand with questions. All right. Okay. So we have good hand position. We're set up properly. That's huge. You know, it's critical. It's like literally, this is how important it is. If a student has minimal bad habits related to this, their hands is a little bit lower, their angles are just a little bit farther ahead, not quite. Literally, take a student at 0 years experience to 5 years experience. Okay, this is an estimate based on, I've taught a lot of students. Okay, so I would say if you have a perfect hand position, in 5 years, you're here, okay? With, let's say, a half hour a day of practice. You're here, you're far, okay? If you have just minimal bad habits with this, I would say you're half of that. That's how important it is. Okay, if you have terrible bad habits with this, you're literally barely making progress because you're not able to advance. You're not able to do vibrato, you're not able to play in tune. You can't stretch fours, you can't play fast. You can't play 16th notes. You stall, and that's what happens. People quit. People quit when they don't have good technique because it gets frustrating. Raise your hand if you relate. It's frustrating to not progress. You kind of stall, right? And it's important to understand that there is a difference between stalling and not seeing the vision of where you're going. Just like, guys, I want to make that clear. Because there's always 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You're going to have degresses. You're going to have bad days, weeks, months. I'm talking long term. I'm talking when I have a student for 5 years straight and I see like maybe a stubborn student that doesn't want to fix a bad habit. I see how far they get, right? And it's all technique based. I see a student that just masters it. Same exact trend. It's the same thing if they master technique. So really, it's just, if you have anything not quite right with this, just focus on it with your scales, focus on it with your drills, emphasize it. Don't let it be a side thing. This is huge. This is like you either loving violin in 5 years or 10 years or not, or having it in the closet or not practicing very much because it's demotivating. Really, I really believe it happens a lot more than people think. So we want to be on that trend, that track, okay? So yeah, that's sort of my left hand tips on setup, okay? There's a lot more that can be said on efficiency with what we're doing with combinations, and that's related to speed. So let me get into that, but I'm talking a lot here. A little break. So who wants to come on and just say how they're doing with the violin? Maybe they don't have a question, they just want to say, hello, how you doing? Let's mix it up a little bit here. And then I will get to to the efficiency stuff as well. Sarah, how you doing?
Hello. I've actually had a really bad practice day today.
Okay. It's all right.
But everyone has bad practice days.
Yep.
My question was about setting up with a shoulder rest because I don't have one yet, and I'm a bit worried about getting one because I know they can change the resonance of the violin. But at the same time, I don't feel like I'm ever going to be able to do vibrato if I don't, because I tense up with my shoulder when I'm pushing the violin up to my chin.
Okay.
I was just wondering if you had any tips about what the best kind of shoulder rest might be.
Yeah.
And how it'd affect the sound of the violin as well.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. As far as the tone of a violin improving, there are a lot of theories on it, and I think that there are shoulder rests that can help, but it's not a lot, so don't think it's significant. It's sort of more opinion, potentially, but yeah, a shoulder rest is really it's a personal preference thing. There's some teachers that even recommend that students don't even use a shoulder rest. Believe it or not, I actually know of a teacher that won't take on students if they use a shoulder rest. So it's that extreme. So it's all over the place, but my advice would be make sure that you have a shoulder rest that's comfortable. Make sure that you have a shoulder rest that's makes it to where, yeah, you don't have to press uncomfortably. So it sounds like to me that maybe your shoulder rest, Sarah, is too short. Getting something higher so you don't have to be awkwardly pressing so much. So yeah, I think the biggest variable with shoulder rest to consider is the height. So if you have a tall neck, then get a taller shoulder rest, or if you have a shorter neck, then get a shorter shoulder rest. I do think shoulder rests are very useful, and I highly recommend them. Every student that I've had come through my studio has used a shoulder rest, except me. I don't use one. I do both. I kind of do either one. The biggest thing is the concept is you have to have reliance on the chin and shoulder to hold the instrument.
Mm-hmm.
That's the concept. So you don't want somebody to be able to take it away from you. You want the left hand to be free to move. You don't want to be relying on the left hand. That actually does affect speed and shifting. So very important. But yeah, the violin is like my third arm, right? So I mean, I can do this in my sleep, where you guys are more maybe not as comfortable doing that without a shoulder rest. Okay, so that's kind of the concept. Hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else want to come on, say hello, how your progress is going? If you had a good week or a tough week, I'm sure others would love to hear others' experiences here. And then after that, we'll go into some more material. Anybody want to come on and say hello? Raise your hand.
I'm from India.
Go ahead. Rennie, go ahead.
I'm from India, actually, Michael.
Yes.
India.
Wonderful.
India. And I love your teaching, really. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much.
I've improved a lot. Just in 1 week, I've improved a lot. Thank you so much, Michael. And now the question which I have right now is the left hand. For the past 1 week, I've been practicing your way of holding the violin, and now for it's harder for me to hold the E string with my index finger. That's the problem I have right now, Michael. Could you explain?
Sure.
That could you solve?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for coming on, and I appreciate all the kind words. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, the reliance on the chin and shoulder, obviously, to hold the instrument. And yeah, some students, what they do is they kind of curl too far inwards to where their nail is hitting the string. That might be an issue. Also, you might just be relying too much here. So yeah, a test would be for somebody to actually try to get somebody to randomly try to take your instrument away from you. If they're able to easily take it away, then there's not enough reliance here. Everything that we taught you with left hand should be very flexible, very easily moved and mobile. A lot of you guys develop a bad habit of grabbing the fingerboard too tight, and you're sort of like non-mobile, like you'll never be able to shift. So you want to be able to feel the neck, the smoothness of the neck. You don't want to be grabbing it so tight that you can't sort of feel that smoothness, because if you don't feel the smoothness, you don't really know how far to go. And it's not a good habit to sort of release before you shift. It's better just to always be free and feel the neck. So yeah, I don't know if that helps, Remy, but appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming to the class. All right. Any other questions? All right, raise your hand if you're enjoying the class so far, getting some good tips. We're on target, left-hand tips. Like it? Sweet. Okay, so let me get into some more efficiency stuff with left hand. So this applies, yeah, to all levels. A lot of you guys are not efficient, and it's hurting your speed when playing the violin. So the biggest bad habit with efficiency is fingers going way up in the air. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is I want you to focus on what you're doing with other fingers as you're placing other ones down. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. Go ahead and grab your instruments. We do the gallery view here. This is one of the fun things about these classes here, all the students. Awesome. Okay, so I want you guys to play with your bow. Play the toughest piece that you have, that you're struggling with, obviously muted. And what I want you to do is I want you to freeze on a tough intonation spot, a tough area of the piece that's a struggle. I want you guys to just freeze. So maybe just directly go to that spot and just play a few of the notes and freeze, okay, just on the tough notes, okay? So go ahead and do that and freeze and be honest with yourselves where you're at. Stay there. Okay, we'll wait for everybody to freeze where they're at. All right. Cool, this is awesome. A lot of you guys are on video. Some of you guys are getting set up. Okay, so yeah, for those that are frozen. So what I want to avoid is I want to avoid fingers popping up in the air. Okay, a lot of you guys, when you have that tough note, that tough fourth finger, that tough shift, that tough stretch, extension, low one, whatever it is, you're picking fingers up. Okay, and that's a really bad habit related to playing faster, playing efficiently. Okay, so so just play and just randomly stop and pay attention to that more. You'll be surprised. And one way to do it, to really expose yourself privately to yourself, would be to just shoot a video of you playing the violin and then watching your left hand what it's doing. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised at how much your fingers are being picked up in the air. It's very common. I would say it's number one or number two bad habit. And the reason why it's a bad habit is because as you're lifting fingers up, you have that much more distance that you have to go to find the next note. Okay, and obviously the violin is a fretless instrument. We all have testimony on how tough that can be, correct? You know, a guitar, you can put your finger anywhere between a fret and it makes the same sound, right? On a violin, you don't have that luxury. You have to put it in exactly the right spot. So it makes a lot of sense that why would we want to be inefficient? Why would we want to lift fingers way up in the air? It hurts our speed and it hurts our intonation, okay? So, try to evaluate yourself on this. And what I recommend is practicing with somebody holding a book on top of your fingers, or you could actually just pizzicato or just kind of pretend like you're playing, and then just take your right hand and just kind of hold the right hand over your fingers to not allow them to be lifted up real high. So that would be good. Cool. Anybody willing to just pop on and say how they're doing with this, if they're noticing this problem? Anybody? Raise your hand. I can see all of you if you want to raise your hands in the video. Susan, go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
Did I have my hand raised?
Oh, I thought you just, yeah, sorry. I thought you just raised it.
Oh, I was just doing fingers like you had.
Got it.
Here. I think I got it. I think I'm okay.
Okay, good. Yeah, some people are more efficient than others with this. But yeah, I mean, try to really try to see where you're doing on the fourth finger. You know, that's a very easy spot for this to happen. All right. Anybody want to attest to any issues going on with us? I can see all of you right now. If you show me. You guys are a quiet group tonight. It's all learning, huh? That's okay. I don't mind. As long as I know that you guys are learning and having fun, that's all that matters. Awesome. Okay. Oh, anybody? Any questions, man? Okay. All right, so I'll go back to the lecture here. All right, so So yeah, finger efficiency is huge. So not lifting fingers way off the fingerboard, very, very important. And what I find often with that is students do it very often with a 1. And then what happens is, let's say they place a 1 down after that, they're always a little flat. So like when they should be here, they're here, because just because they are doing this bad habit. Naturally, it kind of just feels better to kind of place it here instead of here naturally. Okay, so that's really big. All right, the next thing is the way that we're leaving fingers down when we're playing the violin. That's a really important thing for efficiency and with speed. So a lot of you guys, you're making it way too hard on yourselves. So you're placing fingers down, and then I'm sorry, you're placing a finger down, and then you sort of just are not even thinking about the other fingers at all. Based on the key that you're in, let's say that you're in the key of D, okay, and let's say you have a 3rd finger on the D string, which is a G. So when you're playing that G, especially let's say the G is a half note or a longer note, you guys kind of don't really think about these fingers. Raise your hand if that's you. You're not thinking about other fingers when you're placing another finger down? No? That's you? That's I expect a lot of you guys to say yes to that. That's very common, yeah. Unless I teach it, a lot of you guys are not thinking about that. Okay. But the thing is, let's say we do a G, and all of a sudden we have an F sharp, a high 2 in the key of D. Okay, a lot of you guys lift the 3 up, and look where the 2 is right now. It's out of tune, right? So as I was playing that 3, why couldn't I just put it next to the 2 and 3 together? So to take it even a step further, what I recommend, as you're placing a 3 down, I recommend you place the 2 and the 3 down together. I call it sticky fingers. Okay, so I'm working these 2 fingers together in this particular key signature. So you know, even if I have an F sharp, my 3 is sort of feeling the 2. It's sort of they're neighbors, they're friends, they're sticky. Okay, so see how I put my 2 down, and my 3 is like ready to go. Look at how easy it is for me to put my 3 down now. Boom. See that? Boom. Okay, that's how you play fast, because I'm efficient. So I really need a drink of water. I'm okay. I'll survive. Okay, so my fingers are moving together, and that helps my efficiency. Raise your hand if that makes sense. Efficiency. Okay. Good. All right. So now what's important to understand with this is that it's based on the key signature that you're in, okay? So let's say I'm in the key of C, okay? In the key of C, I shouldn't be playing F sharp, right? I should be playing F natural. So in the key of C, I don't want my 2 and my 3 to work together, okay? I want my 1 and the 2 to work together. See that? These fingers are now together. So let's say I have a 1st finger in the key of C. I put my 1 down, see what's happening with my 2. It's just ready to go. They're friends, they're buddies. Okay, so all I got to do is boom, I'm there. See that? Okay, a lot of you guys just aren't thinking about that. Your 2 is way out in outer space or somewhere else. How are you supposed to play fast that way in tune? But if I feel this distance, and I play a lot of violin and practice scales a lot, I'm going to be very accurate with my intonation, because I feel what this feels like. My 1 and the 2, how they feel together, how they work together. Okay, now if you have skinnier fingers, it's different. It's all about how skinny or thick your fingers are in this concept. But I've been playing violin for a long time. I know exactly if my 1 goes down, where my 2 goes. I know exactly where that is. That's how you play in tune. Okay, it's just they work together. They're efficient together. So if I'm in the key of D, here these fingers work together. Okay, if I'm in the key of C. Okay, and you get kind of used to like keys, how they work. So like if you're in the key of F, you know, now my 1 and the 2 are not going to work together. My 1 and 2 are spaced apart, right? They're actually like this. They're exactly a space. 1, 2, and 3, right? The key of F. So we got a B flat, you got a C natural, you got a D. So yeah, you just kind of, you get efficient. But the thing is, everything that I'm talking about, every single thing with finger placement happens close to the strings, okay? So if I have a finger down, I'm never up in the air, I'm just close, I'm close by. And to take it to the next level is what I'm talking about is having fingers work together. So we're trying to do that. So the way that you can work on this, maybe that was overwhelming if you guys have never done efficiency, is to work on scales and pay attention to what you're doing with other fingers. So like if I do a C major scale, I'm going to pluck. I'm not even going to use the bow. I'm just going to work on focusing here, okay? So I'm going to put my thumb on the corner of the fingerboard if you guys want to play along here. If you guys want to grab your instrument. We're going to play a C major scale, okay? I'm going to start off on third finger on the G string, C. Okay, and then D. Okay, now here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to place my first finger down, but I'm also going to get my 2 in a ready position. Here's my 1. My 2 is ready to go. And here it goes again. My 1 and 2 are working together. Like that. See that? Efficient. So raise your hand if you guys can see how that's efficient. How I'm using fingers to find other fingers. That gets us more accurate. You know, you guys are doing too much. Got all this stuff going on. It makes it impossible to play in tune. Good. I seem to be getting it. Great. All right. Any questions? Sarah says, my husband's home, my webcam's banned. Uh-oh. It's funny. Questions? You guys are quiet tonight. Man. Let's clap. Let's just get something going here. Let's clap for the students that have come on, and clap for more people to come on. All right. We can do this. We don't want people falling asleep. I feel like one of those like teachers on TV. They're like really boring. I can't remember their names. Like you know, teachers that are. I don't know if you guys have seen the Wonder Years. I used to like that show. The Wonder Years. You know, the professor that's like really boring, like blah 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 blah, like the way he talks. Maybe that's me. That's the way I teach. All right, any questions? Andrew, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Good. What can I do for you? How are you doing with violin?
Okay. I have this question, please.
Yes.
Some people will say, in order not to make the fourth finger lazy, it's better to play the fourth finger and not play open notes. I mean, for example, now I want to play open A, and I'm playing the fourth finger of D.
Okay. You're asking about like whether to play a fourth finger or an open?
Yes.
Okay.
Which one is better?
Okay. Yeah. So basically, with a fourth finger and open, it's all about staying on the same string, and that actually applies to everything with violin. When you shift, you want to shift and do fingerings based on staying on the same string as much as possible. So you don't want to just go to another string for one note and come back. You want to stay on the same string. The same thing applies to the fourth finger in the open. You don't want to do a one note open and come back. You want to do a 4 potentially, which will keep you on the same string. Now, if you're doing a scale and you're working your way into the next string already, like you're not really coming down and up for one note, then it's okay to do open. Okay, So if I'm doing a scale, ideally 4 to practice, but it wouldn't be a terrible thing to do open because we're working into the D string. The disadvantage to doing open is you can't vibrato. So the other rule is if you have anything longer than a quarter note, I would say, I would not do open because then it's just like a blah note instead of a vibrato note. Some of you guys don't know vibrato yet, but it's a good habit to use 4s as much as possible. So, they're really the only time that advanced players play open. They do it a lot, but the rule really is just like on fast passages going into the other string. Everything else is 4s. Everything else is vibratoing 4s. So if you can get in that habit ASAP, the better. But yeah, if you're doing like a passage, something fast, it's totally fine to do open because you really can't vibrato going that fast, right? So, yeah. So try to, if you can, get in the habit of doing it as much as possible. So I hope that answers your question. Great. Thanks for coming on, Andrew. First time on. Great. Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Is Crystal back? She got unbanned. Crystal.
Yes. Hi.
Was that you, or is that somebody else that said that?
Oh, said what? I had my hand raised.
That was Sarah Young. I'm sorry. I thought that was you that said my husband is home, webcam is banned.
Oh no.
That was Sarah Young. Okay, so that's the reason why she left. What's up? How can I help you?
Do you have any exercises I can do to keep from bending my wrist like this with my left hand? It's really hard to keep it straight. I want to bend it.
Are you talking about the left wrist or the right wrist?
The left.
Left wrist. Okay. So you want an exercise on how to keep it straight and not come in?
Right.
There's actually like tools that you can use, like with bowling, you have those casts, like those things that kind of help you keep the forearm straight. There's stuff like that some people use for violin. It's rare, but I don't know of any exercise that would just drill that. I would just say it's just kind of like relaxing, just keeping it loose, relaxed.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like to me that if you're having to force that there's some tension.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And everybody, let's give Crystal a hand. She just learned the flute, but she decided to continue with the violin and not quit. She's with us. She's still here. Let's give her a hand. She's deserving of the support. We're all here to help each other out. And I know it's hard sometimes, and I'm glad that you stuck with it.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Even if it's just 5 minutes a week, or whatever it is, just don't give up. That's my biggest tip I give everybody. Cool. Thanks for coming on. Great. Any other questions? Chuck? Or no, Chuck doesn't have a question. Anybody else have a question? Maybe you guys are more participative if this is the screen that we use. Maybe that's the theory. You see each other. You can see who's seeing you. That's it. Hey, Ed. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. When you were talking about the C scale back there, why instead of going from the C on the G scale, on the D string, the G string, why not just keep on going? You could have kept on. In other words, you're playing the C in the third position then.
Are you referring to the are you referring to the fourth finger concept?
Yeah, you were talking about the fourth finger. Remember, you were talking about playing the C scale. You started on the on the G string there.
Yeah.
And then you went to a D on the open D.
Yes.
You could use the you go, but then if you start where you had your third finger, you could put your first finger there and.
Yeah. So you're saying as you're just kind of have the first finger ready to go.
Yeah, your first finger. If you move your shift to the where the third finger should be with your first finger, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like taking things that to the next level, almost like a extra credit sort of thing. It's not. It's certainly good. It's helpful. There's just so many students I know of are just not even keeping fingers close. That's great that you're doing that, Ed. That's really efficient. That's great.
But you can play any scale you want, but basically just using that idea of space. You start with your tonic note there, and you start space, second space, and then half space, and two adjacent spaces.
Yeah, and then like I mentioned, understanding the key signature is key. So there's a lot of changes that happen in each key, so you can't really rely on all the time the 1 and the 2 work together, all the time the 2 and the 3 work together. It changes based on the key signature. So there actually is a really good tool if you guys are interested in more about key signatures. It's called the Finger Finder, and it's really good. It actually changes. It's like a card that kind of opens up, and it shows you where all the fingers go in each key. So if you're really interested in the efficiency and learning more about that, it can be used basically where you're playing let's say you have a piece of sheet music and it's in 2 sharps. You kind of you put the card to the right spot, and then it shows you where those fingers go. So you can see where the 1 and the 2 are corresponding, or the 2 and the 3 are corresponding. You can sort of start to get in the habit of working fingers together. So yeah, you guys can get that on like Amazon or whatever. It's called the Finger Finder. There's one in first position, and they have up to 3rd position. So yeah, that's helped my students a lot over the years. Awesome. Any other questions? All right, we gotta do the standard of every class, the bow holds. Let's see how the bow holds are looking. Let's get them out. Got a few minutes left. Love seeing the bow holds. So I encourage you guys, if you're not on video, pop on. You don't have to, but let's see how the bow holds are looking. Dave, your bow hold looks amazing. Perfect. No issue. He's like, yeah. Ed, bow hold. Looks good. Yeah, just a little bit high. Try to get a little bit kind of squish it down a little bit. Karen, pretty good. You're unnaturally kind of spacing the fingers a bit. So, like one finger's up here and the others are kind of back. That tells me there's tension there. So we need that hand to just be as loose as possible. The natural state of the hand is what we want. So this is my natural state of my hand. So when I put the bow in, there's not much change there at all. So when I saw you up here, that tells me that there's some tension. Good. Coda, you're new to the class, I think, right? Never been here. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Yes.
Let's see. It's a little too close there. See your fingernails. It's not bad. Just fingers are kind of more straight. Get them more on an angle. It's going to help you bend the wrist easier. Yep. Yeah, and then don't press with the pinky. Yep. That's good. That's better. Yep. Linda. Looks great. Yeah, just a little bit more of the 2 and the 3 kind of just, hanging down. You see maybe a little bit of tension there, but it looks good. Yeah. Yeah, and flexibility looks great. Joanne, let's see. Great. Yeah, this pinky potentially has some tension, but everything else looks great. For pinky. Randy, are you trying to show me? Crystal, looks good. Yeah, really good. Yeah, just a little bit on the straight side. Just kind of angle it a little more, but it's good. Yeah. Yeah, great job. Don't want to lose that bow hold you have. Man, that's good. Susan, it's good. They're just kind of seems a little bit like it's forced. Just more asleep. Yeah, you sent that video. I think I gave you similar tips on that, Susan. it's just a little forced. Like it's kind of, you said you maybe overthink it a little bit. Yeah, it's a little too spread apart. It just needs to be natural. Like really, like if you take your hand and just flop it down, that's the way it is. That's the way it should look. See how it's not changing? That's better, much better. Yes, like it. That's the way. It might not feel like you have much control of the bow, but that's actually what you want. That's the adjustment is proper, if that's the case. All right, Natalie. So look, I would say a little bit overly bending the pinky. That's better than stiff pinky. Everything else is perfect. Very good. All right, I think that's everybody. Great. All right, let's give a hand to everybody. All the bow holds are getting better. Less having to critique. We're doing a good job. Hey, bow holds are huge. You guys can get that down. Cool. Any other questions? All right. Yeah, I'd appreciate any sort of feedback you guys have related to the classes, just to help keep them fun, interesting, productive, all that. Just send me an email. Visit my website. You can also enroll in the classes right through the website at violinshack.com. Love any feedback you have. Whether it be just the topics we're talking about or the way that the screen is or anything, just feel free to message me. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the class. We'll be doing more next week. And yeah, you guys can plan on these every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. And we'll continue to, help students improve. I will post these on YouTube, so check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/violintutorpro. You can find the recordings to actually all the classes I did this evening, which I did a really good kids class at 6 o'clock. Check that out on YouTube. Kids, yeah, really fun kids that are learning violin. It's really cool. At 7, I'm doing fiddling. So today we talked about some really good things with droning, which technically would apply a lot of you guys, like how to do a double stop. There's a lot of good in there. Advanced class, you guys might think that's a little too much, but Maz's work, and then yeah, this is the 4th one of the day. So you guys can plan on all those on YouTube. Also, I have a really awesome playlist going on right now, and I'm adding to it every week. So basically, Rennie, you're I'm not even able to mute you. I don't know why. Okay, so yeah, I was talking about my playlist. So I'm trying to add to my playlist. My vision is to sort of have the start of everything you need to know about the violin, and then you just keep progressing through like a funnel. Like just you keep going from lesson to lesson. I'm trying to be more organized on YouTube. So yeah, right now I have lessons 1 through 17 of course 1, which it's a ton of technique work. It's a ton of tips on setting up, the left hand, the violin bow, the stickers, the bow right tool, how to stroke the bow properly. That's course 1. And then course 2 is basically reading music and playing a song with me, playing a duet. And that's 7 lessons. I'm going to add more to that. So you guys can plan on more and more videos. Please share the videos. That really helps me a lot. That's kind of what YouTube garners attention based on. So if you guys, anytime you see a video from me, if you like it, just share it and like it. That helps out a lot. And then more people will be in our classes because they'll find us. So, all right. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you guys have a great day. Let's clap again for all the students, all the participants. Thanks so much. Now I get to go get some sleep. Lots of teaching tonight. I love it, though. Love teaching. And if you guys have any questions, just feel free to email me, visit my site, join us on social media. Hope that you guys continue to improve and practice violin. See you guys. Bye-bye. Thanks for everybody that came to multiple classes. Appreciate your support. Bye-bye.